Hi guys, my name is Kyle Brader and I'm founder of Guido, a mobile application connecting travelers to registered tourist guides on demand using a similar business model to Airbnb and Uber. I'm here at Startup Grind because I'm keen to network.
Hi, my name's Jacob and I'm from Royalty. We're a tea shop on Kloof Street and I'm here to learn a bit about marketing and how to really get our brand known in Cape Town, and I'm very excited.
Good evening. Startup Grind is such a special place in my heart. I attended my first event last year, February, when I moved into the startup space. I was so happy or surprised by the people and the mentality of the people that attend these events. How welcome they are, how they give, how they share. Is that shareable a word? And so I've built this relationship with Startup Grind and with Sanderson and at that stage G. And when we founded Future Females, it was kind of just logic to have them as mentors. Last month, Startup Grind celebrated female founders and also female speakers all over the world. We were very happy to see that. And throughout South Africa, in Joburg and in the Durban chapters too, we had this exchange with tickets where Startup Grind people can come attend our events and our people, the Startup Grind events. And I am grateful and thank you that I, from Future Females, can tonight host on behalf of Sandra's. Future Females is, I just want to give a shout out to Future Females tonight in London. My teammates are launching right at this moment, 6:30, they were supposed to sit down. So to my team there, good vibes. Really happy. So last night I did some research on the speaker that I'm interviewing tonight, and as you can see, I'm Afrikaans. I texted my mom. I said, "Mom, I'm interviewing the previous assistant editor of Sari, the ladies' magazine," and she's like, "What? That's so cool!" So I'd like to tell you a little bit about Ingrid Jones. She started her career on radio. She moved on to Sari and then started her own company, Mikateko Media. The description that she has on LinkedIn is very nice. She says, "Let's shatter the glass ceilings, let's talk empowerment and about the elephant in the room." So she is passionate about real people's issues. Children's abuse, violence for women and extreme poverty. And she uses language, her love for language, social media tools to get people and organizations to support these people. I'm happy to have read that she loves bubbly. When my friend offered her a whiskey, she was like, yes! And she also loves a good novel. When I read up a little bit about her last night, and one of the things that a journalist asked is, she said, "What is your superpower?" And she said, "My bullshit detector." So for those of you who's having a conversation afterwards, be prepared. Ingrid, please join me on the stage. Do this. So can everyone see? Do I keep this? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so just to kind of like break the ice, are you vegetarian or do you eat meat?
I just learned a new word, it's called a flexitarian. So you don't eat meat on a Monday and a Tuesday, and for the rest you can pretty much wing it, so I'm a flexitarian.
There you go. about you, your background, where did you grow up, school?
Okay, we've got 30 minutes. I'm going to try and be brief to get through all the questions. I'm also grew up Afrikaans. I come from a little town called Bonneville in the wine area. And I was the eldest of a very, very strict father. We actually just wanted a boy as his eldest, and then there was me. And so I had to, sort of for most of my life, try and be the boy that my dad always wanted. As we all know, when you live other people's dreams, it never works out. And so after school, I came to the University of the Western Cape, where I studied and I did a BA, I did an honours, and I did a teacher's diploma, and so I started my career as a teacher. I taught Afrikaans at a high school in Belhar for about 9.5 years, and it was rough because it was in the 80s and it was the height of student unrest, and I was a young teacher fresh from university, and so I'm still thankful for those years, because I think it prepared me for corporate world where there's a lot of bullies and gangsters. And so I resigned from teaching after attending a meeting like this where a new radio station was starting. There was on the English side, there was Cape Talk, and on the Afrikaans side there was Punt Gesels Radio. And I went, and there was this guy on stage who started the radio station, and he was talking about die bruin gemeenskap, die bruin gemeenskap. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are you talking on behalf of people you don't even know? And so I got up and I said, like, please don't speak on our behalf, you have no right. Anyway, we got into a fight, and he said, why, if you are so full of nonsense, why don't you just resign and come and work for the radio station? Which I did. And so I left teaching. And then I was at the radio for, I think, 3.5 years. So my life is a series of coincidences. I was there for 3.5 years, and then someone else said at Sari magazine, I think it's time to leave the radio station. I think you should come and work at the magazine. I said, well, as a what? Because I'm a language teacher, and what I know is that I was a writer, I'm not a journalist. She said, well, you can be internet editor. What the hell? Anyway, I went, and so I was internet editor, started at the bottom of the pile, and when I left, I was assistant editor, one of 3 assistant editors to the editor. And then again, someone said, after 3 years, I think your time here is done, would you like to join new media? And I said, well, okay. And then I left, and I was there for 3 years, and then you start like, yeah, your life can't be a series of coincidences. And so 3 of us who worked there sort of understood that we in order for us to go anywhere in the company, and this is not a slate or a shade or whatever, someone has to die for any of us to go somewhere. And so nobody was going to die soon. So we decided to form our own company, which we did. And so we formed a media company called Mikateko Media. That was 10 years ago. That's what I looked like 10 years ago. And this is what I look like now. And so it was 10 years of corporate in the media space, which is a highly contested and small space. And so you really, really have to, I mean, to survive for 10 years, because that's what it is, survival. Took a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of hard work, and so now we are 10 years old, and I'm on a sabbatical for 3 months because I'm just like, seriously, I'm going to die if I stay here a day longer. So I'm in my last month of my sabbatical, so it will be interesting if I go back and rejoin the company and they don't know what's coming. So that's a little bit about myself.
Wow. So if your best friend have to say one thing that they love about you and one thing that they hate about you, what would they say?
I think they hate my honesty. Because if you ask me something, here's my bum to pick, I'm just going to answer you, and if you can't deal with it, then it's not my problem, you asked. And the good thing, I think, is that I can throw a mean party. I'm really good at a mean party. So.
How old were you when you had your first job?
How old was I when I had my first job? I was...
Can you guys hear?
When I had my first job, I was probably 23. After leaving university, 23. Yeah.
Mikateko means blessings, and also a lot of the quotes that you do on social media is all around gratitude and blessings. Where does that awareness come from?
It comes from growing up in a small community where I can talk a lot, and so initially I wanted to be a priest, and my father said it doesn't pay, please. So I wanted to be a priest, and so I spent a lot of time in church. And when you're around pious people, then you learn to be good to other people, because that's what church should be about, or any congregation, or any, doesn't matter what it is. And I think that's where it happened. My father was the principal of the school, and when you're the principal of a small school, you're also the advisor of people's problems and blah, blah, blah. And so I learned it from a very young age that you have to help in order for people to be better at themselves and you. Because you grow because other people are growing. So I think from the church and from my very strict father, I got that.
What idea about having your own business did you always have? And then when you started your own business, did you go like, actually it's not so easy?
I don't know how many, I'm going to assume everyone in the room is an entrepreneur. You know, when you say, I'm going to start a business, you have no idea what you get yourself into. You really just have that idea that I want to work for myself, I want to make my own money, and I want to report to a boss. I just want to be my own boss, I want to get up when I want to get up, and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to build this humongously big company, and I'm going to employ 1,000 people, and then I'm going to retire in 5 years, and it's all done. If someone tells you that's rubbish, it is rubbish. It is hard work, firstly, to start the company, because we were lucky. Somebody gave us, or the company that we went into a partnership with, when we started, they owned 49% of the company, gave us, I think, 160,000 rand. And we've paid it back within the first 6 months. And so we don't owe them money. And we were lucky that within the first month of being in business that we got a contract to work or produce magazines for Transnet. So that was good. So that was our anchor client for a lot of months. And it is not easy when you employ other people. So you can't pay yourself first, you need to pay other people first. So for many months, I mean, if I must tell you what I earned, it is ridiculous. I would not go back into business if I know what I know now. Right? So then we started employing people, and we had to pay salaries, and then you have to sort of, because we're not business people, you know, I'm a writer. I used to be the editor of a magazine, and now you're running a business. So you have to do a lot of work on yourself and for yourself, where you have to go for causes and join spaces like this, so that you can empower yourself, because you can be bullshitted by other people so quickly, right? If you don't know, then people can tell you anything and you will think like, yeah, it's fine. So when we said 49% of our business, it's okay for you people to, we were crazy. How do you just like 49% of your business to someone else? But I can 10 years later say, well, now I know. So if someone says 49% of a business, I'm just like, no, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. I went to school now. So you have to school yourself so that you know when bullshit is coming, that you are ready for it, right? And so I think the biggest lesson that I've learned for a startup, for being an entrepreneur, is to empower yourself with enough knowledge so that when the bullshit comes, you know. Because it's not easy, really not easy. I don't know if I answered your question.
I guess also that's where you kind of practice the bullshit detector skill. I think one of the things also about starting your own business as a founder, you have this idea, and then suddenly you have to start managing people, and you go like, why do I have to manage people? Talking about people, work environments, and how do you create a work environment where people want to work and want to stay?
I'm a Democrat and my partner is an autocrat, right? So we were 3 when we started. The youngest of the 3 left. We had to buy her out, and that's why I'm still broke. And so she left for the agricultural sector. And the 2 of us, the older people, stayed behind. And so I'm very democratic, you know, people have a voice, and let's discuss this. And so it takes days in the beginning to lead or rule by consensus, like your freaking political party. And my partner on the other hand just wants things done. So people must be at the office from 9 to 5. It's not negotiable. For me, like, you know what? If your work is done by the 17th, that's fine. It's about outcomes. So the longer we worked together, the more it started grinding against each other. And so when I finally, after 10 years, got like, I can't work like this. I cannot work like this. I don't manufacture cups or build chips or whatever. We do magazines. So whether I sit in the office or the people who work for us sit in the office is really immaterial. So it depends on what you do. If you make cups, you have to be at the factory, right? Build chips, you have to be at the shipyard. If you work with words like I do and dreams, you can sit anywhere. I can sit in Amsterdam and produce a magazine. My designer can sit in Korea and design a magazine. You know, I don't have to see you. All I want is the magazine when it's done, after I have given you the input in terms of what it should look like, right? So I just came back, sorry, just bragging, came back from Amsterdam where and I looked at how people work, because I didn't just go on a holiday, I also wanted to see how other people work. And it's the same thing. Flexi is a huge word, a flexitarian. No one asks you nowadays anymore, so excuse me, so where do you work? No one asks you that. People want to know, like, what's your gig? It took me a while to understand millennial language, but what's your gig? The big thing is not to just work for one company anymore if you work for a company, right? You have to be able to have multiple streams of income. I now understand that. You don't just have to work for one company. Apply what you do to people who can pay you and pay you well. Because if you work for one company, one salary, you're going to give 50 jobs, you must just do it because it's on your KPI, right? That's what you must do. But if you use your different skills and you sell it to different people, you can have multiple streams of income. If you don't remember anything of what I said tonight, just remember that, because I've learned that very well in the 3 months that I'm not in the office. And I'm going to go back and say, guys, I actually think that we should close up this beautiful big office that we've got. Because why are we here? The only people who need to be here will probably be the salespeople, because they need a phone to call from for advertising. But the rest of us don't have to be here. So we pay exorbitant amounts of money to rent space, whereas we do not have to sit in a big, beautiful office. Lovely to brag, but like really, we don't have to. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of skip on to a later question. Talking about this, I mean, time management has been so important. What would you say to people with more than one income stream? Because I know also some people might be doing, it's nice to be a freelancer with more than one income stream, but if you like working a full-time job and doing that, how do you handle time management?
I understand that time management is a problem for some people. They need to sit in an office and they need to do the 9 to 5. And if that's what you want to do, then don't listen to me, right? Then do the 9 to 5 because that's your discipline. But if you want to increase your value and your worth, and I'm also talking about money because people don't want to say like I want to make money or I want to earn a decent salary. You think that what they pay you is kind of okay. And then you can steadily build, you can't build wealth by working for other people, but you can steadily move yourself up the ladder a little bit and a little bit and a little bit because you're not going to earn just one income, right? You can have other things that you are doing, but you have to be very, very disciplined, right? So if I tell you the deadline for this particular job is the 19th of June, then it must be the 19th of June. Otherwise, I will never work with you again. That's the downside. So you have to be very disciplined. And I don't think anything more than that, but it is about discipline, self-discipline. Like Sandra said, you know, the 7 things of power. You have to empower yourself for this, because time is a discipline. It's not, oh my God, I just didn't have enough, the baby was crying, no, it is a discipline to be able to manage your time in a fashion that will make you in charge of your life. Otherwise, you're going to work for somebody else for the rest of your life.
What would you say was the single most influential thing that happened to result in success for your company?
Ask again.
What was the most influential thing that happened that resulted into success for your
I
business?
think that even though we are different people, we have to learn to work together. When you're in a group, you have to learn to work together. And our mission and vision, I don't think people talk about those things anymore. It's so outdated, but it's important for this question, is that we, when we started, wanted to leave a legacy. A legacy doesn't pay the bills, but it's a good aim to have. So when we started, there was not a lot of black-owned female media companies around. It was just not done, you know. And so when we started, the aim was to empower ourselves, and then once we have a good enough company and base, then we will give back by a lot of internships, by empowering the next wave of young black media professionals. That's still the aim. So yeah, I have this dream that one day I will have a school where these skills can be taught over and above, where people go to university and blah, 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 where what I've learned and what we have learned can be plowed back so that other people can learn from us. It's good.
Do you have a mentor?
I have a lot. I think mentoring is important. So I have mentors for various kinds of things. A spiritual mentor, somebody to know what. It's the hardest thing to mentor me in business. The hardest thing. Because what I don't know, that's the important things, right? I know zero about a spreadsheet. Zero. Less than zero. I don't understand how to balance the spreadsheet. Right? I don't. My partner, on the other hand, that's important when you start a business or when you do business, is that your financial, your CFO, your financial advisor must be the most important person in the business. Because the rest of us just come up with ideas. No? Who's going to fund those ideas? Right? Does that person. So my partner is really good at financial management. I'm not. So then she says, like, maybe, you know, you should go on a course. No, I'm not going on a course. No, that's not my thing. That's your thing. Let me worry about strategies and going for pictures, and that's my thing, right? So out of my ignorance, I then said, well, if I'm the stupid, then there must be other stupid people like me in business. They're just not acknowledging that they are stupid, right? So then we started something called Financial Fitness for Entrepreneurs, where some people here I've met there and they spoke at some of our events. So then we started showing entrepreneurs what, you know, the basics of the spreadsheet. Who you must pay, income, outcomes, and all of those fancy words. And we were surprised that for our first meeting we had a full room of people. So there were people as stupid as I am. they were just not, they didn't have the guts to ask, because you don't want to, expose yourself like own a company you don't even understand the spreadsheet. Ask and employ the correct people to do those things for you.
Just going back to media, what do you think what is your idea of the role of media in society at the moment, and what do you think for the future, the role that it's going to play?
Well, I guess somebody said that's a good question.
It was me.
I wasn't It's a complex question and answer. We all know about fake news and all of that, and so I don't have to preach to the converted. The media has the biggest, strongest role, doesn't matter what we think of them, now, ever. Because they can, if they are left alone, do a lot of damage, right? And if we as citizens don't keep them in check, then we will be in trouble. So what are the types of media that one should be involved in? So I'm still involved in the print business, right? And then in South Africa they tell you, but print is dead, newspapers are dying. You go somewhere else, I've been to Amsterdam, like I said, for a fact. It's important to note that. Is that people, based on where they are, right, they read. Because when the sun is out, they are out. And then they are on the lawns and live anywhere, and you don't read on a screen in the sunlight, you read a book, you read a magazine. So what is it that we can do media-wise? This is a challenge for people in the media industry. Because I don't think what we offer people in South Africa is necessarily what our environment asks of us. That is, I think, what is happening. So we give people what we think they want, glossy magazines with Padang on the cover, and then Boiti on the cover, while the bulk of our people don't have access to data or information or stuff that will make our society be better. That is the problem. We don't have enough information for people to be better. So what we know is what we know, and we think it's okay, but it's not okay. It is not okay. We have as a daily newspaper, Die Zon and the Daily Sun. I mean, honestly, is that helping our people other than gossiping? It's not. So what if there's somebody in here who wants to start a media company? If you figure out what you must do so that people can read in order to better themselves, you will coin it.
Such a good answer.
Did I?
I think this is my last question, I think. What did you learn during your sabbatical year?
All the flexi words. Flexitarian, flexi, hours, flexi, millennial. Oh, yeah, no. Let me not, I'll be here for a day if we start talking about millennials. What have I learned is that probably the answer I gave you guys now in terms of the media, that I don't want to go back and do business as usual. I need to go back and turn the company on its head and then leave.
Thank you. Thank you very much for answering my questions. I'm going to open up to you questions that you have.
Don't ask me financial questions as you've heard.
I'll be kind. What are some of the rules that you've learned in business and have had to break as you've, been stupid and been intelligent for other of your journeys?
The rules? When you start out, then there are rules as to how a business should be run. That's what you are told by other people, right? And what I've learned about it is that you need to make the rules for your own company, because we're not cookie cutter people. If you work with millennials, you have to design a company around millennials. And that's very hard for me. So I've learned, because I'm a boomer, I think, to learn to work with young people. Because the rules are that people need to be in the office from 9 to 5, and you can't fit a millennial into, for example, 9 to 5. So that rule, gone. So how do you work with people, honing in on their skills as opposed to a worker, a 9 to 5 worker? What is your skill set, and how best can we utilize your skill set where we are? That's the one lesson. The second lesson is that I think, and I need to get there, is that our way, or the guy from the cloud people spoke earlier, that we are way too slow. Our tech is way too slow. We need to speed up tech. That's how we will be able to work from wherever it is that we are. Data must fall, we all know that, so that people can access data in order to be able to better themselves. So that those, I think, for now, should be my two biggest rules, is to, when people give you a computer and say, this is your seat, sit here, it's rubbish, really. And the other thing is, like the first thing, I don't know if I normally answer people's questions, but yeah, throw away the rules.
Hi, Ingrid.
Hi.
I just want to know, is Mikateko under new media, or with the whole thing with new media and Media 24? So are you in partnership with new media, or are you in partnership with Media 24?
Okay, that's an old intern of ours, that's why she's got inside knowledge. We are an independent company, even though we've got 49% shareholding by New Media Publishing. So I do not report to Media 24 at all. There's a board that governs the companies. So whatever is happening at Media 24 and New Media doesn't have any bearing on what we do. So yeah, no retrenchments at our company.
Yeah, me. Oh, sorry. She's got. I'm gonna go for that one, and then okay, yeah, she's got the mic.
Hi, Ingrid. Thank you so much for your brevity. What did you enjoy the most about your business, and what was the most rewarding thing that your business has given you?
Because we are so small, we literally are operationally involved in everything. It's tiring, and that's the downside of it. And but the best bit is that I can still, I don't think it's working, but I'm sure you can hear me, that I can, because we're so operationally involved, I am head of content and creative. And so I am physically still the editor of Mango's in-flight magazine, and there's a new airline, it's yellow, FastJet. And so I edit these two magazines, and they keep me busy, because if I can't write, I will die. And they allow me to write, so that's fantastic. So again, do what you do and do it well, and then leave what other people do well to them.
On your journey to success, what was the lowest point you found yourself in, and where did you find the drive and inspiration to pick yourself up and keep pushing on, or keep pushing forward?
You know, there was a time when we had one contract left. And so if nothing happened within the month, we were going to close the company. And my partner said, well, what is it, the thing that she normally says? What must be, what must be. That's a philosophy. And so we didn't know what was going to happen. And the let things be, or whatever, we got a contract within that week that we were supposed to, whatever. Because the lowest point is, not about yourself, is that 20 other people will be without a job because, whether it was your fault or not, 20 people, 20 families will be without income if you lose this contract and you close down this company. That's the lowest point. how do you pick yourself up? You have to do it almost every day, because we're in the business of pitching for work and pitching for, so you pitch and you pitch, and 1 out of the 30 that you go for you might get, and you become very despondent. But you just have to pick yourself up the next day and go for it again and again. It's like a little hamster in a wheel, goes round and round and round. But the rewards are when you know that month after month you are putting bread on the table of 20 families. And that's why we're still alive.
And that was your inspiration.
That's correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Ingrid.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. In your journey of coincidences, there's something that's pushing you to go from one step to the other. That gap when you decide to jump to a new coincidence. If you can describe what is that, what's the decision process there? And then nowadays we call things startups. We are in an environment of startup, and when you started a business, I don't think the word was there. And these days people are saying, I want to leave my job and start. They always ask me, what's the leap? What makes you jump into a startup?
You know what keeps you in your job is a salary. Because you get it the 25th, ping. Someone paid you. You can't be an entrepreneur if that's your thing. Right? Don't do it if you want to hear the ping. You have to be almost fearless. Because for me, once the idea in your head drops that I need or I want to leave, I'm done. You must leave. Whether you know what's going to happen or not, you must leave. Right? It is the worst thing to employ people who sit there who doesn't want to be there. It's the worst thing. You know they don't want to be there. They're like, I'm going to start my own media business. Go ahead. Make my day. But when that idea drops in your head, resign. You will be surprised what happens in the 3 months that you don't have a job, right? Because they pay you 3 months severance, blah, blah, blah. So you've got 3 months to sort your shit out. 3 months. Otherwise there's no more money. Right? So within 3 months, you will sort yourself out to get something different. There's no big thought process behind it. Just jump. You'll be surprised.
Last question.
Thank you. Hi Ingrid, thank you very much for your talk. It was very inspirational. My name is Tutula Mgenela. I'm also new into the media space. I've started my own startup. My question is, our industry has a stigma attached to it, the media industry, PR, advertising, where it is considered to be a very mean industry, a very aggressive and a very cutthroat and in-your-face industry. And I think more especially woman to woman, from my personal experience. What can we do to change that?
I think women in the room, excuse me guys, must be honest and say that we are mean bitches. Some of us are really, really mean bitches. Excuse me for the word, I'll probably be changing tomorrow. But it is what it is. I'm not meaning it in a whatever kind of way. But women are really good, some of us, at keeping the glass ceiling intact. You don't want to see other successful women, right? So then you become that gal, you become that one. That is so rude and so mean and so because you are just trying to keep other people out because you want to be the main kunai, right? People must come to you first. You don't want to give anything else to somebody else because I'm the best. And once you get over that, right, that there's enough work for everyone. There really is enough work for everyone. You just need to find your niche, right? There is enough. How do you change the perceptions? I don't know. It will depend on your media company. PR companies are struggling. They must ask themselves, why are they struggling?
Exactly.
Marketing companies are struggling. Why are you struggling? Right? That's questions for you guys to ask. So how do you change that? You know, how do you change the world? How do you eat an elephant? One. That's how you change it. But it is a very interesting space, because if, you know, the whole thing of artificial intelligence, right? And that's a whole other conversation. When you give your menial jobs to the computer and to something else to do, you can actually focus on people skills. That's the one big thing. Client service, client service, client service, client service. That's the only thing that's a difference between my cup and your cup, right? Our cups are the same. How does your client service make sure that I'm going to come to you for the same cup that I can buy from this guy? Client service, people skills. I don't want to talk anymore to a thing about my phone that's not working or whatever. I want to walk into a freaking store and somebody must sort it out for me. So people skills high up.
Sorry.
There's a guy with his hand up there for the longest time.
Last question.
Yes.
So I just recently listened to this past week, Mississippi Goddamn by Nina Simone, and the first thing that came to my mind was like, why the fuck don't we have like anyone that looks like me, you know, that has the same kind of anti-establishment narrative, you know, counterculture, speaks the way she speaks, writes what she likes, cares about the people she cares about passionately, and hates the people that she hates with like a vitriolic, like, get out of my face attitude. And then I see you. It's really happy to see, you know. So I'd like to know, what is it like, you know, on a large scale basis, you know, looking forward, you know, from the point you started, you know, kind of moving through the mediocre molasses, if you will, with this counterculture, you know, anti-establishment, Nina Simone's attitude, you know, what is that like?
That's a really deep question, bro. Do you know what? I read a lot, and I don't read mainstream stuff. I read a crap load. Also listen to Nina Simone when I grew up young, gifted and black. So I read a lot, and I try to be left of mainstream all the time. It's not an easy road, you know. My partner walked out of a presentation I did, for example, because she felt that what I was presenting was a little dark. So she left the room. So it's a very lonely road, right? And there's lots of pockets in society where you can go, where you can feed yourself, nourish yourself, that kind of thing. I then started my own NGO, called Parties with a Purpose for Women, right? Now we all know on a Friday evening we go home, we sit in the yard and let's have a couple of beers, or whatever, and then do nothing. Till next Friday, same thing. And then I'm so sick of this. Can we party still? I'll still have my champers and my whiskey. But can we just have a purpose? What do we do? So we meet once a month. And once a month, each of us gets to choose a charity that we support. And we have to raise money for that charity. And we have to make a difference. That's our imperative, right? I don't want to work with government on it. I don't want to work with them. I just want us as a group of friends to say that if we want to change the world, we will have to do it ourselves. Because if you wait for government, you're going to wait for friggin' ever. And it's a lonely road, but there are more people like that than you think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But thanks for the question.
So I think that's a wrap. From my side, Ingrid, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you. To start off, Ryan, thank you for choosing this amazing speaker. I think this is starting photos.